Hello everyone and welcome to the EGX developer session for Battlezone. I'm Eurogamer's Ian Higton and I'm joined by Tom Rigby and Rob Dale from Rebellion. Now before they get into playing the game, we're just going to show a quick trailer to set the scene.
Incoming enemies. Destroy all enemy forces. The AI core is exposed. Press the attack. Excellent work, pilot.
All right, so Battlezone has been drawing some huge crowds here at EGX. You've had up to 2 hours wait, I think.
More than that.
I think we hit 3 hours today.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, so you've had loads of people playing them. What's the feedback been like?
Pretty much universally positive, I think. It's people aren't likely to say like a bad word, really, but even kind of outside of the confines of our booth, everyone's been super, super positive. And for a lot of people, it was their first kind of PSVR experience, or even VR experience, and they're blown away by it. You know, they're laughing and looking around, and they love it. They love it.
Cool. Now, what you were showing on the floor was a short demo, but today you're going to be demoing for not the first time, but
The first time outside of
in a while.
Rebellion.
outside of Rebellion, the procedural campaign. So, Rob, you're going to don the helmet.
Yeah, I'll suit up.
Great. For those of you that don't know, by the way, Battlezone is kind of, at its core, it's an updated version of the 80s Battlezone, the original Battlezone. So it's kind of tank versus tank combat for, about 5 or 6 minutes a level, and then we've surrounded it by with this kind of randomly generated campaign that you'll see in a second once Rob's chosen his tank. I think he's going for the medium tank. We've got about 9 tanks to choose from.
I'll practice on medium.
What differences do the tanks make?
They've all got different loadouts and different modulators, which hopefully you'll see later, and they've got different speeds and shield strengths and things like that. Everyone's got a favourite, basically. So this is a hex map, basically. I think you've seen it before a few times on trailers.
Yes, so this hex map, am I right in saying that every time you play the game, the hex map will look different?
Yeah.
These shards of light, what are those on the hex map?
Those are shield generators. So your actual goal is to get to the volcano, at the end there, that little orange thing. But the shield generators, these spikes, if you travel along that kind of path and try and get as many as you can, it'll make the job at the end a lot easier. It'll be...
And every time you play, the shield generators will be in a different place, the volcano in a different
the
place.
whole hex map, everything changes, all the different configurations. There's other things. At the moment, it's blank because we intentionally hide a lot of stuff from you. But when we start to uncover things, you'll see there's supply points, there's little events and things, and they're all kind of dotted around the place, and there's different missions and maps and things.
Now, what Rob's doing at the moment is he's looking around the cockpit, viewing at home and on these big screens. It's really hard to kind of, get across a sense of scale. I've played Battlezone a couple of times, and when you're sat in the cockpit with the headset on, everything around looks nice and big and chunky. There really is a big sense of scale to the tank. You feel like you're in a big machine.
Yeah. I mean, it's something we really encourage people, if you've got time, to come and try it. We've got our stand over near the res section, and you can try out the full demo. It's about 6 or 7 minutes long. It's really worthwhile, especially if it's your first experience. You're right, it does not get across how immersive this is. It's genuinely incredible, even after we've played it for hundreds of hours, and it's such a good sense of scale.
Yeah, the buildings are very tall. You can look right up, and the arenas are also quite large. Are they a set size, or as the levels get further and further, do they become more complex, more open?
it's not the map so much that changes as you go on, although the themes of the maps change. You know, we've got different themes, and they get more kind of volcanic or as you get closer to the volcano. But it's more the missions that get tougher. So we might have a defend mission. Maybe now you have to defend 2 buildings. You know, maybe you have to defend a building and there's a load more tanks and a load of different units. Because as you progress across the campaign, everything gets tougher. The tanks level up, you get different types of tank. Everything basically gets a lot harder as you get towards the volcano.
So what's Rob doing here now? He's attacking some enemies.
Yeah, he's using the multi-lock-on missiles, which is one of our weapons. We've got over 100 weapons at the moment, all different variations. And he's basically, now he's switched to the unguided missiles, actually, just to annoy me. But he's basically attacking a few medium tanks there. At the start of the game, you'll see light, medium tanks. We'll start to see heavy tanks maybe during this demo if we've got time. But if he switches back to the lock-on weapons, I don't know if he's listening, we'll be able to see him sort of locking onto multiple targets, then it'll fire off and go down. We've got loads of other weapons. So we've got laser-guided missiles that kind of follow your reticle. We've got artillery, which can shell from far.
Okay. And each tank can be upgraded with different loadouts, different weapons, kind of. How does that work?
Well, basically, there's 2 kind of main upgrade paths. Throughout the campaign, you'll see these supply points, and they're shops, essentially. But they are kind of randomly populated based on how far through the campaign you are, like with various weapons. So the weapons kind of get better and better in the shops as you go along, so you can keep up with the enemy. But there's also kind of modulators. I won't go into them too deeply, but there are kind of more kind of flexible upgrade. Whenever you're on the map, you can play with them and upgrade your shields or upgrade your kind of healing ability if you're playing in multiplayer and things like that.
Okay, yeah, you mentioned multiplayer then. You just recently released a trailer showing that you'll be able to play co-op in this game. How will that work?
Well, it's up to 4-player co-op, but you can play it single player. But if you play it single player and leave your game open, anyone can drop in and drop out at any time. And the game will adapt to that, so you'll get more enemies, you'll get different enemies, and if they drop out again, it'll go back down to a nice level for you. So you should be able to people pop in for 5 minutes, and if they do, they'll get to keep all the unlocks they got during your campaign and things like that, so it's worthwhile.
Okay, cool. Now, Battlezone is going to be a PSVR launch title.
It is.
So obviously, you guys, some of the first people making games for the PlayStation VR. What kind of challenges were you presented with working with this new tech?
People might kill me for saying this, but it's been relatively smooth. Like we've kind of not had too bad of a time of it because our in-house engine Azura is coped with this pretty well. It's obviously a challenge. I won't say not to make people sick or anything. That sounds bad, but it's more. There are very easy ways to do that you obviously shouldn't do, and so we tried to minimise that. And just kind of, general kind of things like where do we put the HUD? That's an important thing. As you can see, we've kind of got all the critical information right in front of you. But if Rob looks around at the cockpit, you'll see kind of there's bits and pieces left and right that we want to encourage people to look at. We want to get them looking around because that's the important thing. We found a lot of people they stare straight ahead, but we want you to like move your head around and look around.
I mean, when I was playing it, I was enjoying firing forwards, and then I was able to look at oncoming targets from my left and my right. It changed the way. Because you think it almost looks like he's playing a normal first-person shooter, but it kind of changes the way you think about playing, because you can aim forwards, but you have this extra axis to look on.
Well, that was a very deliberate decision. We could have opted out. You've seen in some VR games that you kind of shoot where you're looking, so you're kind of aiming round. But we didn't really think that suited it because it's a tank, first of all, and then second of all, the kind of guns are fixed on a nice kind of angle. So. And it detracts from looking around and just enjoying things. If you're shooting things by looking at them, you're focusing on them. So yeah, we went for this kind of separate reticle kind of system. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's really worthwhile once you do.
Now, what are the benefits of having a procedural campaign like the one you've got here?
Well, first of all, it makes it more fun for us because it's still actually quite fun to play the game, which is great for us. But also, it's more. The intention with the game was that you play it repeatedly. You don't just complete it once and you're done. You keep going and you unlock all the weapons. The main kind of thing is we want you to unlock the hundreds of weapons. Yeah, they're cool. Yeah, they're great, aren't they? I love those. But the intention with it was that you get to the volcano, you unlock some stuff, it changes the game a little bit, you get another tank or something like that, then you try out a different loadout next time. You won't always get your favourite weapons on a campaign, so we want you to keep trying different things and keep trying new campaigns, especially with your friends.
So Rob he's completed the first level. What's he doing now?
He's looking at his modulators. This is what I alluded to earlier. This is the more flexible kind of upgrade system. So while you're on the hex map, these little green squares he's got, he can remove them or add them to any of these little things there, like shields, active reload, magnet, heal, things like that. He can buy more as well. Currently, he can't afford any. He's not got enough data, which you see these little cubes he'll be picking up. That's data. But yeah, so he's basically upgraded his shields a little bit there and made it a bit easier for himself.
Okay, now also, I've spotted up there's something that says enemy power up the top.
Yes.
Is that an important thing we need to keep an eye on?
It is, yeah. So every time you take a move on the hex map, every time you do anything, even if you go to an already completed level, the enemy gets a turn. So the power level basically will go up, and every time it passes certain thresholds, the enemy gets more dangerous, essentially. And if you can just quickly see that purple guy at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's the nemesis. You might have seen him in trailers and things like that. So if the bar reaches there, a nemesis will appear somewhere on the map. You don't know where, and then he'll have various behaviors, but he might mill around shops, he might just walk around randomly, he might just make a beeline for you. But when he gets there, if he lands on a level that you're on, he'll be in that level with you, and he's pretty dangerous. You don't really want to face him.
How is he dangerous? What does he do to make him so deadly?
Well, no, first of all, he's really, obviously he's just tough and he's got tough shots. But he also, any tanks that are surrounding him, any sort of tanks on his side, will get buffed by him, and they'll also become not as tough as him, but pretty tough, and you don't want that,
No. So the last level we're on looks slightly different. You've got different aesthetics for how many different aesthetics have you got for each? For these maps?
I believe we got 5. Don't ask me to list them, I couldn't remember. But there's volcanic and ice and things like that. They're all vastly different from each other, and you'll see them as you go through. Again, it's one of those things that in VR is much more impactful. We're looking on the TV, you think, oh yeah, it looks quite different, but when you're in there, it's great. And on the demo, if you play that, you'll get to experience like 3 or 4 of those different themes at the end of the demo. It'll kind of cycle you through them, and it's pretty impressive.
Now, what I liked when I played this game was how smooth it felt, and a lot of people are worried with VR is that it might make them feel a little bit sick, but this game it does a very good job of grounding you and reducing motion sickness. Can you talk a little bit about how you've done that? What kind of the thought process was behind making it as comfortable as possible for people to play?
Well, obviously that was like a real priority for us. And we've been through quite a lot of iterations of this tank. Some people might have played the very, very early demo we had out in the wild a while ago, which you could actually jump in. And we thought that was great, we loved it. But people didn't like that, because it makes people, it's a good trigger for making people sick. We also had another tank where you could rotate your turret separately, but if you rotate it that way and then drive that way and you're looking, it's not good, you don't want that. So we've essentially sort of settled on the kind of tank we've got now, and we find that it's pretty good. I would say we've demoed it to hundreds of people, and we've still in single figures for people who've stopped playing it, and even they were probably like already a bit susceptible to it. So it's been absolutely great. Yeah,
I mean, for me, a good thing when I was playing was the fact that you've always kind of got the stationary body of the tank in vision that kind of reduces that motion sickness, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's a real boom for us. I mean, it probably formed part of the reason why we decided to make a tank game, because we already knew at the early stages of VR that having some things around you helps out. And we're very lucky, but we did work on the cockpit quite hard. We wanted it to be visible, we wanted people to know it's there, because if it wasn't there, it wouldn't be that nice.
Cool. Right, what's going on here? This looks interesting. This looks different from shooting tanks.
Yes, so Rob's on an assault mission at the moment, which is essentially his goal is to attack this building that he's managed to reach. He has to get through all the enemies to get there, but now he's got to shoot these kind of discs around the side of it, take away its shields essentially, and then pummel it with whatever he's got when he's done. But as he's doing that, obviously people are trying to stop him, and it's just one of our types of mission. And
How many types of missions are there?
I really couldn't say. There's like a lot. Like we've got kind of various different types of mission. There's the obvious assault, there's defense, there's more complex ones. The shield generators, for example, are actually a bit more structured. You have to go through kind of phases to get to the shield generator and things like that.
It looks like it's all kicking off now. He's getting attacked from all angles.
Yeah,
I'm spinning around a lot here.
So if Rob was joined by a couple of friends right now and he was being attacked, he's severely damaged, how could they work together as a team to take these enemies down?
There's a couple of ways, really. The main thing you've got is a heal. Everyone's got a kind of heal radius that'll heal everyone else when they're near it. It's one of the modulators. You can remove it completely if you favour something else like shields, but that's not very nice if you want to do that to your friends. But the thing is, you can increase it. That will increase the radius and the strength. And you can heal people their whole strength during the campaign, like while they're kind of fighting. But also, if they're downed, they'll go into a sort of down state, and you can revive them if you get there quickly enough. If not, you'll have to use a life, which is it's important to note they're shared actually between all the players. So that's quite an interesting thing, I think. It's like a throwback to continues on the arcade games. We tried to get a few of those in there.
And it's roguelike in the way that if you lose all your lives, you have to start right from the very beginning.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. You can buy lives for the data, which is the currency he's picking up. You can purchase lives like between you, and again they're shared, so it's kind of a nice altruistic thing to do, really.
Okay, so he just took down an aerial enemy. I've seen a couple of tanks. I've seen some aerial enemies. How many different types of enemies have you got?
Again, I really couldn't tell you the actual number, but there's quite a few. There's the hoppers, as we call them, the ones that fly around. There's light tanks, heavy tanks, medium tanks. There's a sniper unit that we've not seen here yet. There's a swarm, which you do see in the demo if you play that. And there's
a couple of little skidoo.
Well. What are they called? They're called scout bikes.
Okay, and when I played, there were some turrets as well.
There are turrets. You'll see them popping up here and there. There's also other turrets which kind of like hide from you when you get too close and things like that. Loads of different types of enemies. You try to keep it pretty fresh.
So is he's still pummeling away at this?
He's
kind of thing.
He's got, I think, to his right, he's got like an allied tank, like a blue tank, helping him out there.
Yeah, he's been amazing all the way through.
That's not someone else playing from your development?
You might have seen them. They pop up randomly, basically. They're just kind of a bit of flavour, and they help you out. The blue tanks are on your side, the red tanks are not. It's very colour-coded.
Okay.
This tank is a hero for me.
There we go. He saved your skin, did he?
Yeah, he was amazing.
Right, well, that was a mission success. What are we getting judged on here?
Mainly things like how much damage you did, how many of the pickups you got. So we split the score between the kind of how much damage you did and how many pickups you got. So if you're a bit more short range, you can dodge in and get the pickups and steal them from everyone. But we also award things based on if you got the most kills or badges essentially. And when you're in 4-player, that's kind of split between all of you, and it's a pretty competitive thing.
When at the end of the levels, you can be like, "Yeah, I was best."
Exactly, and we do that definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so now we've reached a point on the map where it looks like Rob can choose which way to go.
Yeah, well, he's chosen a supply point actually at this point, which is our kind of shop. And at the moment, he probably won't be able to afford anything. However, he could sell all his stuff and buy something. Okay. Yeah, do you want to sell something, Rob? It's up to you. It's your game.
I don't do well with unguided rockets. I'm going to change that maybe for something.
Sell those. And maybe, I don't know what I would recommend. Maybe laser guided missiles are pretty cool. They're pretty strong.
I can go for that.
Good. Yeah, so he's got the laser guided missiles, which are, as you'll see, you fire and then they follow your reticle.
He's got 4 loadout slots. If he had enough money, could he fill them all up now, or would he have to unlock those 2 slots?
You can do that. You can get other tanks which have more loadout slots or fewer, depending on them. Also, he's got his special equipment at the bottom, which I suppose we should mention, which is a kind of one-time radial attack. You press a button and it fires off around you. Anyone who gets caught in it gets that effect. It recharges after about 60 seconds, but he's got rot, which is essentially a kind of poison effect.
Okay.
But there are others. There's an EMP. There's a good one called Virus, which turns everyone onto your side temporarily, which I really like. That's good fun.
And a vampire one as well.
Yes, that was quite a nice one for teamwork, because if you infect someone with vampire and then everyone shoots them, as they do damage, they get healed, which is extremely useful in a lot of situations.
Which mission do you reckon I should do then?
So he's looking around. He's got a defend mission.
Yeah, what have you got, Rob?
Mission, I think.
Let's come back.
What was that? Dropping a probe. What does that?
Defensive mission.
Yeah, drop a probe, Rob, and we'll show you what it is.
So I've just done it. Look, here we go. We can actually choose from here.
Oh yeah, it's revealed. Okay, so he's dropped a probe. You see everything's blank, basically. Yeah. And he's dropped a probe on where that kind of star is, and that's revealed everything around it. So you can kind of pay about 250 data to drop a probe and show, and it shows everyone in the campaign where it is, and it's very useful. We're always doing that.
How about a defensive mission we do now?
Yeah, I think you should. Yeah, do the defend. I think so. You might lose this though. You can fail
the laser.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll be on the... I want to see the ice world. That's my favourite.
And protect the Allied
I do like the way the shell kind of folds back.
It's very intentional. We all of that was meant to give you this wow moment when you're in VR, and first time you do it and it reveals the world. It's meant to be this kind of amazing, wow. I'm in VR.
Yeah, I mean, if any of you guys in the audience played the demo, there's a really cool intro where you're sat in the tank and it's completely dark, and then it peels back and you're in this like hangar.
The hangar,
and you can see all the robots flying around. And Yeah, again, it shows like a huge sense of scale that it really doesn't come across on the screen.
It really doesn't. I mean, we keep saying this, but it's so important that we get people to try this and just see how impressive it is, and also how impressive the PSVR is as well. If you've tried Oculus or Vive, this is a really, really impressive piece of kit, I think. It's definitely incredibly comfortable and works brilliantly, and works on the vanilla PS4 as well, which is such a great thing. It really, really is. So he's using his laser-guided missiles here. You can see as he fires them off, they sort of follow the reticle around. And,
okay, so if he keeps the reticule pointed at something, the rocket will follow that.
Exactly, yeah. It's a bit like, if you remember I don't know if everyone remembers in Half-Life, there was a rocket you could fire and then it follows you like your laser.
Yes,
that was exactly it. That was kind of our influence for that. It's a pretty good thing, and also they're very powerful when they hit, because they're quite tricky to use.
Obviously, different enemies will be weaker to different types of weapons.
Not especially. It's kind of like, as long as you're doing damage, that's the thing. We wanted it so that in multiplayer, it doesn't matter what kind of weapons you've got, you can always contribute. That was the thing. Like, multi-guided missiles are good for people who just want to kind of wear down the enemy and let everyone else finish them off. We've got the artillery as well, which is quite cool, because the other players can tag enemies and it'll automatically range find to them, and extremely useful, really, a very powerful weapon.
I saw a UFO flying around earlier. What's the UFO for? Because it didn't look like he was attacking.
Yeah, so the UFO is another nod to the original 80s Battlezone, in that occasionally a UFO would turn up and it's worth a load of points. So what we did was we added the UFO in, and it flies around and turns up, it warps in basically. It doesn't attack you, but what it does do is any loose data that's around, it'll hoover it up, and then it'll warp away and it's taken away. But if you shoot it, obviously you'll get all the data back.
Great, so keep an eye out for the UFOs and take them out if you can.
There's a few deliberate homages to Battlezone, we'll let people spot them, but yeah. It's meant to be what you imagined it to be like when you played the 80s Battlezone, basically.
This is like your rose-tinted memories.
Yeah, I think it is, and we certainly, most of us are old enough to have those memories, so I hope we've captured it pretty well.
What was that behind? There was a red fence. Is that just the boundary?
Yeah, that's essentially a sort of like little kind of shortcut.
Have a look at the radar.
You can. Oh yeah, and there's a radar actually. I'll show you that in a second. There's the shield wall. You can blow it up and it will let you through. Basically, it's kind of a blocker.
I need to head back and defend my base here. I've left it a bit on its own.
The turquoise thing on the radar, you can see it in the kind of north of the radar. That's the building he's supposed to be defending, but he's about like a mile away from it at the moment.
Oh, right.
So.
Is this a defense mission?
Yeah, and there's an enemy right next to it. Yeah. If you look at your thing, Rob, your objectives panel, you can see that's his objective right there, and it tells him how much health he's got.
I'm still okay at the moment.
So he's under attack a little bit at the moment. He's not doing badly though. He's still very early on, so he'll be treated pretty nicely at the moment. It's not too difficult.
One thing that's quite cool about this procedural map that I thought, every time you play a level, it seems to be about like 5-10 minutes per level, which I presume, I'm just guessing here, that is intentional, because obviously playing in VR could be quite fatiguing.
Partly, yeah. It's kind of half because it's not particularly because it can be fatiguing for some people, but it's nice to be able to take it off every now and again. So yeah, that's definitely intentional because of that. But it's also partly for the multiplayer. So someone could drop in for 5 minutes and actually, do some good and get some use out of it, that person. And yeah, that's kind of a dual purpose to it, really. We find we can play this, it's like even for an hour or two we're fine, but we're pretty used to it.
So if we were to sit here and play it from start to finish now, how long's average? I guess it will be different every time.
That's the thing. We just don't know. We don't really measure it on the length of the campaign because we don't know. There's no average at all. There's no kind of. We've had ones that just last absolutely ages, and then ones that are a bit quicker, but the important thing is as long as you unlock something and as long as you get something out of the campaign you're doing, we tend to find when you're about 5 or 6 hexes in, you get really invested in it. We played it obviously loads, and we played multiplayer obviously to test it, and when we do, we get so into it, we really still love it, and by the end we want to win. We don't even need to, we just want to, because it's really good fun.
Yeah, I'm really liking the crazy explosions. They all looks very solid and chunky.
Yeah, there's a few things in that you won't see in the demo. Like, he might get lucky, it's a bit random, but this might tumble out of the sky like that, which is quite cool. There's a few kind of cool deaths, tanks flip over and explode in your face and things like that. It's pretty cool.
Is that a success?
Yeah, he managed it. I didn't think he would, but he did.
This is the best I've ever done, isn't it?
Well done, Rob. It's better than practice.
There we go, nice. How many points?
Oh, it's done all right. So yeah, this is obviously comes more in multiplayer, but it's still useful to see how much data you got. So yeah, what have you got next, Rob?
Do we have time for another one, or?
We've got about 5 minutes.
That should be time for one other.
Yeah, jump into another one quick.
How about you drop a probe, Rob, on the blank one next to you, and we'll see what it is.
This one here?
Yeah, drop a probe there. Okay, so that's an event. We could do that, and we could show off an event if you want. It might be nothing happens, who knows? But
well, let's see what happens, shall we?
events are sort of little narrative events. If you think about FTL and the way they kind of drop these little narrative events, it's literally an uneventful journey this time. I knew it would be.
It's very FTL there,
So what
isn't
kind
it?
of things can these events do?
Well, they can be like really short things, like you find a crashed ship, do you want to investigate it, and you might get some data from it. Or they might be multi-part things where someone gives you part of a key that you need to get another solution to another event that's happening somewhere else. You know, it's all kind of like decisions. And also in the multiplayer, it's kind of random who'll get the decision. And so it's kind of interesting. And sometimes there's like hidden secret decisions, so we try and get a bit of backstabbing in there.
Right, so another new a new look to the area as well.
This is our Tech City kind of look. A bit more kind of, probably the closest to Tron. You'll see a lot of people compare it to Tron. But this is one of our kind of
I've got another friend again.
Yeah, you've got another blue guy with
me.
you. That's good. So what kind of mission are you on?
This is an assault mission.
Assault, okay.
Assault missions, that's basically just wipe everyone out.
No, that would be an attack mission. Assault mission is the same as the one we saw earlier. There'll be different enemies, obviously, and different kind of waves of enemies. It branches out differently. But it's the same kind of get to the base and destroy it thing that he was doing earlier.
So that blue tank there, that's a friendly...
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
You probably won't
cool.
last long, the blue tankies. They generally don't. But they're there to kind of help you out during the initial stages. And as I say, you can get a bit of equipment that converts everyone to a blue tank temporarily, and you know,
okay.
it's very useful. Get them fighting with each other, really. This is a radar, by the way, just to point out. The radar itself, I won't explain it too closely, but you can't always see all the enemies, especially in normal mode. We kind of hide some of them until certain points. I won't say what they are. But
Did we turn the difficulty up here?
Sorry?
I think we turned the difficulty up here. It's a bit crazy.
No. It's just normal, I promise. But basically, he hacked that, which is another mechanic we have, and that revealed every single enemy on the radar for a little bit at a time, just so you can get a glimpse of where everyone is and how you're doing. Oh, that's a mine layer there, horribly dangerous.
Yes, I've heard about these mine layers.
Yes.
They will drop these mines, and you can only see the mines when you get kind of close up to them.
Yeah, you basically have to travel slowly if you know there's mines around, because they're invisible essentially until you get very, very close. Like, you can see them there, but you wouldn't be able to see the some over there. You wouldn't be able to see. There is equipment that can help you. There's a thing called the mine spotter, where if you activate it, everyone on your team can suddenly see all the mines in the level, like through the headset, and it's a really kind of useful thing. But they have caused quite a few deaths with our teams, definitely in the mines. He's got one of the towers over there as well, which is one of our. He's kind of if you dodge to the left, Rob, have a look over there. There it is. I thought you killed it. That's kind of a missile tower.
Radar
Yeah, that looks quite imposing.
Yeah, it is. It's one of the more fearsome types we've got. It's pretty horrible, that tower.
I can see why he's hiding behind that radar.
Yeah, he is. It should be alright. He's using I think this is multi-lock on. You can see it fires about 3 missiles at once. So once you upgrade it, you can lock onto about 6 targets, and it'll fire like tons of missiles and then just go streaking out. It's quite a cool looking. Probably one of my favourite weapons, really.
There we go,
Right,
it's
so
down
he's
now.
destroyed that, so now he's got to go and shoot those targets.
Yeah. He might want to take out. That's a heavy tank to the right there. That's pretty dangerous. You might want to take that out. They're our most dangerous.
I wish I had my
standard
ultimate ready,
tank.
but I've wasted it.
Oh.
And you were saying that if you're playing multiplayer, the enemies will scale up in difficulty and numbers as well, will they?
Yeah, numbers, difficulty, and you'll it scales up quite dramatically, and you have to cope with it. We really try and emphasise teamwork in this game. The PSVR's got a microphone built in, and we really want people to use that and talk to each other and figure out what they're doing. We think it's very important. It makes the game a lot better, definitely.
I think I quite like the idea of being in a tank and being able to look left and right and seeing my mates
It's really good.
trundling along beside
Also,
me.
it's important to know you've got a horn as well, so that's good.
You've got a horn?
You can beat the horn, yeah. I don't know if you'd be able to hear it if Rob did it on R3, Rob, but I don't
Can you upgrade the horn? Can you
No,
get like
you can't,
Dukes of
no.
Hazzard horn?
Maybe for the future, maybe.
Come on, horn DLC.
You know. Believe me, we would love that more than
That might
anyone.
not be as intimidating as yours,
Yeah.
probably.
No, it's very cool in multiplayer. It's very, very cool to see your mates, and it's very cool when one of them decides to sort of run away and do his own thing, which always happens, obviously. And you have to go and rescue them and revive them, and they're usually in the middle of a minefield or something. But that's the way it goes.
I don't know what happened to my teammate this time.
We're coming up to the end of our time now, but we will be taking some Q&A questions, I believe, if you're happy to do that. Take some questions from the audience. In a minute, we'll get a microphone up on the floor. If you do have a question, walk up to the microphone and ask away, and we'll try and get through as many as we can in the next 5 minutes. If not, we'll just keep playing.
If you don't get your question answered, come to our stand, and we're always happy to answer questions. It's staffed with developers mainly, so we love it when people ask us questions. So please come on down and ask us.
Okay, cool. The light's up. So yes, if you have a question about VR, about how the game plays or anything, take a trip to the spotlighted area. Spotlit area?
Yeah, spotlit, I suppose.
I should know how.
You're the one I was going to say. Yeah, you should know that.
This is another turret as well you got going?
Yeah, another different type of turret. That one's just like a kind of standard cannon turret. There's a few variations on it. They're pretty fierce on the turrets. You don't want to go too near them.
Hello?
Hello, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Great.
Yeah, I really like how this is kind of like sort of reimagined a kind of classic game. I wonder, are there any other sort of classic games you'd like to be seen reimagined in VR?
Yeah, I mean, I've been really interested in the kind of the first person is brilliant, and that's where our kind of first impulse was to go. I want to remake something like a sort of RTS or something where you look down on it, like maybe would you love like Command and Conquer or something like that, in VR. If you've not played an RTS or something, it's absolutely incredible. It's like you're playing with toys. So I'd love to update some sort of classic, kind of StarCraft or something. I know Rob would love that. So yeah, something like that would be superb.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any more? Cool. Okay, well, I think we'll start wrapping it up now. Could everyone give Tom and Rob a big round of applause for coming along and showing off this brilliant look at the campaign for Battlezone. Now, if you're interested in checking out some ukulele, that'll be our next developer session at 4 p.m. So do join us back here in the room or on our live streams if that is interesting to you. But for now, that's all from me, Rob, and Tom. Thank you very much, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you. Got everyone out.